Everybody, welcome back to PodcastNV. Before we get started with our guest today, I'd like to talk about listener feedback because we got some more listener feedback.
Nice.
So
all right.
We're up to 4 listener feedbacks in 2 episodes. I feel that's a pretty good return.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a guy named Robert writes in. He says, "Hey guys, I'm digging the new podcast. Just wanted to share that a great joke was missed in the last podcast when you were talking about some painting that looked like Italy. Bacon said it wasn't a Van Gogh, and Tim said it was a Van Oh No. What he should have said, it was a Van Don't." Yeah.
Or a Van Stop.
Yeah. I guess, whoops.
Oh,
We missed that joke. Sorry, Robert.
Cool.
Dang. I'll do better next time.
If only Robert knew that I kick my own ass every single time I listen to our episodes. Thanks for piling on.
And this one's from Tara. This is actually a really cool one. Oh my God. OMG is really what she said. OMG exclamation point.
Ooh, okay.
I was listening to the podcast in the car, and I heard the story about the guy standing on the corner with the sign from the Kane Show. I remember that. She said remember in all caps. Mm-hmm. I listened to Kane on my way to class when I was in college. Anyway, just wanted to let you know that we remember rad.
Wow.
All
And at the
right.
end, she closed with not exciting, but true.
Nice.
This has been not exciting, but true.
That's awesome.
That is.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
We also got feedback from my brother.
Oh, really? What did your brother have
Yes,
to
I
say?
tell you. He said he listened to our first podcast that we put out, and he said, well done. The quality was great,
good.
given your background,
Oh,
Bacon.
stop. You compliment me.
But he's looking forward to future ones, and he wants to know when his interview is going to be scheduled. So we need to maybe get him on the books.
What does he do?
Well, I mean, I played in the Campbell Boys with him. He and I also did some stuff together. So
Was that him?
Yeah,
Oh.
I know.
I only remember seeing you and your dad.
No, he was
Just
there.
kidding. We love you, Chris.
And we just lost a listener.
This is Podcast Envy. On today's episode, we sit down with Joe Downer. You can check out Joe Downer's music now on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, he's on it. And you can find out where he's playing on his website at joedownermusic.com. And his Instagram handle is Joe Downer Music. Without further ado, let's get started. So our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. He was recommended to us by a friend of ours to come on the podcast, saying he's a great musician and he's part of the Northern Virginia music scene. So we're going to interview him and, see if we can get to know him better.
And y'all can decide for yourself if any of that's true.
And what's your name?
I thought you were introducing me.
Oh, yeah. Can you just...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
I
right.
think it's written down.
His name is Joe Downer. Did I say that right? Downer?
That's
Is
right.
that right? Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
So you did come recommended to us. Are you like in a band or something? We were trying to get a sense of where you came from.
Where I came from. I'm curious who recommended me.
We can't say.
You can't say.
Oh, it was that guy that tipped us with the granola bar.
Yeah.
That's who it was. He
The
came
one
up
with the
to
cane?
us. Yeah. Yeah, we were playing a gig and he dropped a granola bar instead of a tip.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
So
but
are you still playing music?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
We usually don't take advice from people that give us granola bars, but in this case,
Hey,
I
it
figured,
was
why not?
It was
took
a
a
step
chance.
up from the guy that gave us the coupon.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes those coupons can really pay out.
Yeah, especially when they're expired.
Yeah.
It's great.
True. You tend to get that as well. One time I got a tip of like 3 Chick-fil-A coupons and I used those.
Really?
Yeah.
Fed my kids with those.
The coupons?
I got kids.
So where did music come from for you? How did it all start? Give us the little baby Joe Downer story.
I was pretty vanilla and boring growing up as a kid.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
a
Well,
downer.
with a name like Joe Downer. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a pseudonym?
Were you
That's-
kinda
that's
melon?
actually,
It's actually
this isn't like Azure Vox kind of thing?
if there's No, I always loved music, but it wasn't a really huge part of my life until I, turned 13 or so. Started really getting into it. I kind of marked the beginning of my musical journey at the age of 15 when my parents bought me my first guitar, and
What was it?
it was a red Squier Stratocaster.
Okay.
Very, very sensible
Yep.
purchase for a parent with a kid that may or may not continue. And man, I loved that guitar. and that set me off. So I've been playing ever since. My mom was a musician. She played in church and stuff, and so she was able to teach me a few chords right off the bat. But then I would just learn by listening to like Led Zeppelin and looking at tabs online and stuff. And so I taught myself that way. And then I came up through a buddy of mine got a bass that summer, and so we formed a band.
Nice.
With having no idea how to play our instruments. We were like, let's do a band. And
Was this like original stuff or?
Yeah, we did original stuff, and then we also, did covers and stuff. But man, we were not good. But our drummer friend at the time, we had one more friend that got drums, so we all got these instruments at the same time. And so we, God bless my drummer friend's mom for letting us hang out in that basement.
And everyone
that
else,
summer.
really.
Everyone else, because she opened up the basement to us that summer, and we really that was like our introduction to it.
And how old were you then?
That was probably 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a band name?
Yeah.
Please tell me it was
let's
better
hear
than
it.
Plunger.
Oh, jeez.
What was your? Is that your band?
That was one of the bands I played in before.
What was it called?
Plunger.
I thought you said butt plunger.
Wow.
Well,
You might as well call it that. No, I'm just kidding to all
was like,
those
that's
that
not
played
a-
with Plunger.
That's not a bad punk name right there. I kind of
Yeah.
like that. Now our first band. So I went through several different iterations. Our first band was called The Spaces.
Okay.
Like in between?
Exactly.
Oh, Dave Matthews. Nice.
jeez.
And then once we ended up, my buddy Josh and I, he was the bass player. We ended up kind of breaking off from our drummer friend.
Poor
And,
guy. Drummers are so cool. Why would you do that to your poor drummer friend?
Aren't drummers the worst?
Oh, God.
They think they just own the beat.
Yeah. I see. He just stopped the podcast right now.
It's done. Thanks for coming.
No,
Thanks
he
for
muted me. That's what it was.
So we broke off, and our new band name was just me and him, a bass player and a guitar player, and we were called The Specters. And it was based off of this really weird image he had come across on the internet of like this ghost that he had seen, and he was really into the occult and all this stuff. Still kind of is, in a healthy way.
Right.
And
About what year is this? To give us some sort of context.
you're making me do math now. This was probably
Is this in the AOL internet days?
no, it's a little after that.
Okay.
I'd say like early Internet Explorer at least.
Okay.
So you weren't
Yeah.
totally done with Netscape, but you were pretty close to being done.
Yeah. hmm This is probably 2005.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But this image, it was this image of this like church altar that somebody had snapped, but standing in the image was this massive, like 10-foot tall, like Grim Reaper looking, like translucent figure.
Oh my God.
And it's like super creepy. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. But so we named our band The Specters because like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then we got a.
What are your appearances? Like, how do you present yourselves? Do you guys have outfits that
Oh
you
no,
wear
we were
as
total
specters?
nerds. We weren't
Okay.
like goth or anything like that.
Okay.
But we were just like really into weird stuff. And so then we got a guitar player who was really good, carried us a while, and he had some kind of religious spiritual experience, and he had a dream where he's like, we can't be the Specters anymore. And we're like, really? And he's like, yeah, I can't be in the band if we're called the Specters. And I was like, okay. And so I guess we'll change the name of the band. It's not like we were still any good.
Right.
And so then we became, for about 2 weeks, we're like, well, what's our band name going to be? You know? And he's like, how about High Output? I'm like, well, it sucks, but okay.
Yeah.
And that lasted for about 2 weeks. And then we became Queen Anne's Revenge, named after Blackbeard's pirate ship. Mm-hmm. We were that for a little bit. And then eventually we came into our own. We ended up kicking him out. We got a really good drummer and a really good guitar player. And we were really actually knew what we were doing at this point. Mm-hmm. We were called Silver Tongue.
Okay.
That's a
Is
good
that where? Okay.
That's where
So
Silver Tongue came from.
I have heard a couple things about you.
And Silver, oh, now I'm really curious. So there's the phrase like Silver Tongue Devil, which is like a really slick talking, smooth speaking kind of person. But the name for us came from we were watching Mad Max 2 what's that one called?
Fury Road?
No, before then. This is the
He
original.
was like
Mad Max.
offended.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
how dare you?
Beyond Thunderdome.
I'll
No,
see
that's
myself
the third
out.
one.
That's the third one.
Yeah, so there's Mad Max,
Isn't it just Mad Max 2?
and then there's
I don't know.
and there's Mad Max. Shoot, what is it?
I think it's
Road Warrior.
Road Warrior.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Road Warrior, and there's like this whole, like feral gang, and they've got these children that are part of the gang, and they're crawling through these tunnels and stuff. And so we're looking through the credits, and the names of these people that you never hear on screen, but you see on the credits are absurd. There's like Bloodgut is played by, Francis, Chastleton, and it's like, and then they had like the Feral Child, and we're like, well, that's a cool name. And then there was just Silvertongue as what was one of the names, and we're like, man, that's really cool. And so we just took it and ran with it.
nice.
So Silvertongue,
Not Bloodgut.
not Bloodgut.
No, okay.
No, if we were more into sludge metal, then that would have been for sure our name.
good call.
That or Blood Coffin is one that we always kicked around as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, were you playing live music around then? Like, were you guys like playing anywhere?
We were playing, like our high school did what was called like a coffee house thing where they would have a band cap it off at the end of everything. We did some Battle of the Band stuff. We would play in, house parties and backyards and things. Kind of our big triumph was a show at DC9 where we played this Battle of the Bands and we actually won it, which was really,
cool.
yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
that was really sweet. There's video of that on YouTube if you look for it.
Okay.
A lot younger me.
This is under the Silvertongue name.
This is under Silvertongue.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I've
Yeah, it
only
was- it was
ever
ve-
come as first runner-up in Battle of the Bands. I've never made it to first place.
Well, here we are.
I'm in the,
Now
the
you know what it
presence
looks
of
like.
royalty.
Now we know
Joe
why he
Downer,
was recommended
the winner of Battle of the Bands
at the DC9.
with the DC9.
So were you always the singer? Did you ever go through?
I became the singer over time. So our guitar player started off by singing, and because I didn't want to, and he wasn't good, but he did it. He filled the role. And then my buddy Josh, he and I started splitting songs. So he would sing some, and I would sing some, and we each had our own kind of unique style. If you listen to our first Silvertongue record, you can hear which ones. And it's cool. He drew influence from so many different musicians that in turn influenced me, kind of through him. And so he would be into like Robert Johnson type blues, and simultaneously into like The Clash and Sex Pistols, and simultaneously into like Anthrax and Slayer.
Okay.
And so all of that, if you listen to some of those early Silvertongue songs, we have this song called like Hate That Crow, which is hearkening back to this old kind of blues, Robert Johnson style imagery. But we play the fuck out of it.
So are there any songs that you play now that you used to play with Silvertongue?
Not really. Occasionally, Josh is a really incredible artist. He does. So he's like one of my only friends from high school that I really am remotely close with. And he's an incredible artist. He does printmaking, and he's done a lot of the artwork for my songs. So my song Prelude, he cut that out of, he does lino cuts. So it's a like block of linoleum. He carves it, and then you print it in reverse.
Is this what you're talking
that's
about?
exactly what I'm
Something
talking
like
about
this.
right there.
Where you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a genuine Josh McGuinn. That is number, what does it say? 18 out of 50.
Yes.
Wow, that's a low number.
Yes. So I picked this up at one of Joe's shows, and I got to tell you, this artwork is really cool. So he does all of that artwork, because I know you've had other stuff done.
Other stuff he's done for me too. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I played a show at Jam and Java back in November, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted is just like a cool concert poster.
Yeah.
Like specific to the concert. And so I asked him if he would do that, and he's like, yeah. And he made this really cool. It's like a preamp tube with like my name in it, and it was these really cool like blues and yellows and stuff. It's incredible. And the fact that he does all that by hand and then inks it by hand and then cranks it out by hand, like it's not just like a printed off a computer thing. Like, it's a legit work of art, and it's really cool. And he does some really great work.
That's cool.
If I can plug him one more time, Josh McGuinn, check him out.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Timmy's giving us away.
Yeah, well, I had to go along with it because I was like, no better time to talk about this. I wasn't planning to talk about that until later, but go ahead, Bacon.
Well, now
It felt right, didn't it?
did.
it did. It was
See, it's-
organic.
And Bacon's about to just pull the cat all the way out of the bag.
Yeah. We didn't want to sound like all nerdy and dorky and be like, oh, we love Joe Downer. We're so happy he's here. So we wanted to kind of play it cool in the beginning, you know. I think
We were going to pretend like we didn't know you.
Right.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, that's why you were confused.
Yeah, you were taken aback and you were like, what the fuck did I agree to here?
He's like, Maddie was right.
This is why I wanted Maddie to come with me.
I was going to reveal this at a later time,
Whoa, what is that?
and I was going to say I got it on clearance at a thrift store.
He got it from the Goodwill, really.
I'm going to pop some tags.
I was walking on the street and a homeless guy who had nothing had this shirt and said, I don't want this anymore.
And I said, I'll give you $1.
Or a granola bar.
And he said, that's too much.
He wanted to hear the coins hit the ground. So there's one thing that maybe not everybody knows about you, but I know about you. That I thought would be fun to ask.
PodcastNV exclusive.
So I was told that you are a didgeridoo savant, and so one of the questions I have
Objection,
is,
hearsay.
did you bring your didgeridoo, and can you just play a
Didgeridoo
song for us? Yeah, just didgeridoo it.
That joke was not lost.
Thank you.
All of mine in prior episodes are lost,
Not all of them.
but that one
We do give you that every once in a while.
There we go.
and that yeah.
Not interesting, but true.
I thoroughly enjoyed that segment from that episode. And then I liked
So did we.
I liked like not true but interesting.
And we're sitting here like,
You're like, that's
what, that's not right.
that's
Do
the
it again.
exact opposite of what we just said.
I'm just here for the tequila. So when you've playing with some of the other musicians that you mentioned in the different bands, so you've been writing for a long time.
Yeah.
When do you feel that you kind of hit your stride as a writer to be comfortable to play like the songs that you've played more recently over the last few years, like Honey and Prelude and Anna and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say within the last 5 or 6 years or so, those songs came out of kind of a trial, so to speak. And I guess in some way I really felt like I found my voice in those songs. When I couldn't really put two words together in my day-to-day life, I was able to to put them in the song. Mm-hmm. Which I know a lot of people say it's kind of cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can just mirror your circumstance, or sometimes I would be able to write it and kind of project onto a story. I'd fashion a story out of something. Like my song Anna, there's a whole backstory to that one.
Is it completely made up, or you just took bits of like a historical figure that you then kind of shaped into the story that you wanted to tell?
I guess more so the latter, but it's based in truth. I guess you could historical fiction would be the best
Okay.
genre for it. But Anna is about, at its core, it's a song about lost love, and the story that coalesced around it was this event that happened in World War II. Which is kind of a stretch, but and I'm a big history guy, so I did a lot of research into this and found these things so I could base this story in truth and in reality. I even found like old newspapers and stuff, and I know the exact dates of certain events that can play into this story. So I created this narrative around it. But it's about a hospital ship in the Pacific that gets hit by a kamikaze off the coast of Okinawa. And there was a ship called the USS Comfort, which was a mercy ship. And you can look it up. Like it really got hit by a kamikaze, and it killed several people, including like a dozen or so nurses. And so Anna is one of those nurses. And the song Anna, being about lost love, is the reaction of her lover back at home finding out that she's not coming back. So
That's deep. That's good though. I like it. And then for Honey, you did a music video.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Tell us more about that.
So I got a buddy of mine who does a lot of these, videography things, and he had this thing where he's like, "Hey, I'm renting this like Airbnb, somewhere in the middle of rural Maryland, for like this cool location for video shoots," and he was inviting a bunch of people to come out, and then everybody could shoot like some one-shot performance videos. And he had like a mic, and it was good. It was done up well. And so we get there, and it's this cool cabin in this guy's like backyard. And then you look over, and it's a family. It's not like some weirdo in the woods. It's like a guy with his wife and his kids, and they're like, "Yeah, we just have this Airbnb because why not?"
That he hired. Yeah.
And we look over, and there's like a schoolie, like a converted school bus into a like a RV sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the song Honey is about, finding somebody that you love and going on adventures with them. And I kind of loosely, the inspiration for that song was based off of van life, which is these people like, get these Sprinter vans and put beds in them and just like go.
Yeah.
It's a very like hippie kind of lifestyle. And it's not something I could ever really do, at least in my stage of life.
You have to have
thought
a
about
trust
it.
fund.
You have to have
You have to have a trust fund.
you have a trust fund and no kids.
Yep.
But there was something romantic about it, right? Yeah. And it's something just appealing about the freedom and the beauty that you can see on a daily basis and stuff. And so we're like, oh wow, like there's a schoolie, like, and this is the song that we were going to do today. Let's forget the cabin and
shift gears.
do it over there. And so we did the one shot of that song, and I was like, you know what? I was actually kind of wondering if maybe we could do this again, and I'll play to the track because like I was wanting to use this as an opportunity to make a video. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So we did it, and then it's not very glamorous. I found some stock footage of people
Making out.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
was like, what? Who are these people?
People,
That's not Joe.
You're not the first person to ask me that, too. People will be like, did you film all that? And I'm like, no, I didn't travel to California to film people making out. Like, no.
It's pretty good, isn't it? You did a great job, honestly.
Oh,
did you do the editing, or did you have? Okay.
Yeah.
And did you use iMovie?
I used iMovie.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. It really comes down to the mixing part that I'm like, okay, here, somebody else do that part. But I could put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I mean, it's good to have a community of people that you can do that with, right? Mm-hmm. It's nice to know. That's one of my favorite things about being a musician, and especially in this music scene, is that I get to meet, people like you guys, come on cool podcasts.
Nice.
This one.
and this one. I've gotten to meet some producers and work with them. I've gotten to meet other musicians and sit in with them, and it's just it's a community where I've found that by and large, just about everyone is willing and happy to help each other out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So speaking of which, when was the first time you remember kind of interacting with us?
It's probably at Sinistral. I want to say.
Okay.
No.
Ooh.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'd seen you guys out in the ether, right? Because you see each other on social media and
Sure.
see stuff. And I was like, what is Radio NV? Is it Radio Nevada? Like what?
It's okay.
Common question.
Hey, I've gotten asked what's Radeon 5, and I'm like, the upgraded version of Maroon 5. Suck it. We're moving on.
Well, I just figured it's because I was really slow. I was like, oh, Radio Envy. I was like, that's cool.
Right.
But it just took me a minute.
Okay.
Radeon 5.
Right?
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
We glow.
taken.
Yeah.
It's
Without
taken.
lighting.
It's taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can't be within like 50 feet of us, or like they have radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
The Geiger counter goes crazy.
Do you know, side note, I want you to keep going with your story, but there's also some sort of Russian radio envy where there was something happening in Russia like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was not a good thing. It was a negative thing. And somebody
Most things in
found
Russia
us.
these days.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, we said we weren't going to talk politics.
Well, sorry. But we kept getting tagged in stuff.
Yeah.
And it was bizarre.
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But everything was in another language. And so we had to change our name on Instagram from Radio Envy to Radio Envy Music. So we're like, hey guys, we're the fun Radio Envy.
Yeah,
Not
we were
the
getting
whatever
like
this other thing
weird
is.
follow requests and stuff. Like, all
Please for Radio Envy to follow me.
A lot of negative messages.
My
We're
name
like,
is Natasha.
Have you even looked at the page to see what we're doing?
Me and my boyfriend Boris, we love you. And vodka.
You're really good at accents.
And Ovechkin.
Come, we play hockey.
Yeah.
So where did you first see us?
Yeah.
It was probably just seeing you guys online, and then 2020 happened, and I started doing this thing because all of the musicians, we all lost our gigs,
Yeah.
and we're all trying to do this live streaming thing, and so I was like, what if we try to coordinate that, and we can, so we're not playing on top of each other, but we're playing like one after the other on our own platforms, and we can kind of shout out to the next person and tell our audience, go over here to see this next one, or go over here to see this next one. And so I remember, I think Maddie or somebody may have given me your number.
Okay.
And we had a phone conversation.
Okay.
Let the record show I'm speaking to Brian right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously not talking to Bacon,
The guy that
right?
just keeps saying, okay.
I don't see your number in my phone. Do you have his number?
I do not.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, carry on with y'all's conversation.
Okay.
This got really awkward all of a sudden.
It's cool. We'll just sit back here quietly while you guys,
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got the shirt.
Take a
Okay.
trip down
They don't
memory
have the
lane.
shirt.
It's
Bro
true.
out. It's okay. I've got artwork.
You do.
Thank you.
You do. But no, I called you and you were like, so what's this thing you're doing? And I was like, it's called the Quarantine Concert Series. And we're trying to like coordinate our thing.
And Brian's like, is it anything
I
like
do
my
remember
Quarantine
this now.
Lover song? Because I wrote a
Yeah.
song called Quarantine Lover.
The
Okay?
gears were turning.
Yes. I like to think that I gave him the idea.
I think so. Well, you might be the
You
inspiration.
were the court. I was. Well, I guess we're just not ready to talk about that right now.
No, I think we should
Okay,
wait for the
fine.
second half of the podcast to bring that up.
Whatever.
But anyway, that was our introduction.
Yeah.
And then we were able to start doing that. And eventually I came out to actually see you guys in person when that was a thing again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And that's the hardest thing because we're all doing gigs and stuff. It's hard to go and support each other.
yeah. Yeah.
But no, that's cool.
You got some how's that drink?
It sounds delicious.
It's loud. Sorry. God damn it. I'm gonna get a straw next time.
A sippy cup.
Stick it in a tree, your Chardonnay tree in the backyard.
Nice pull.
See, I was thinking more that the wine would grow like in the fruit would be the bottle itself.
Right.
You would pick your bottle of Cabernet
Or like,
from the tree.
Instead of it being the sap.
Like a water balloon, you know?
Yeah. And just yeah.
Sun.
Anyway,
We haven't talked about the Zamboni
I'm trying
thing,
to
have
prove
we?
to you
I
that I
know.
listened to a podcast
No, I
episode
love
before
it.
I came on here.
We
I love
believe
it.
you. We
Thank
believe
you.
you.
I remember the butt eating virus that the person had, and then
That's
glad
so
that's-
terrible.
Yeah,
Thanks
could
so much,
forget.
Bacon.
that was the big takeaway from that episode.
I was really
Oh,
not to make it about me.
It's such a downer. Come on. Oh, sorry, Joe. Sorry.
Not to make it about me, but I was really hoping that the takeaway from that episode was the fantastic joke of the AI saying the new single was going to be Click the Tile featuring Crosswalks. That was a class grade A, like I should be writing for Jimmy Fallon type of joke, and I just feel like it just didn't hit.
Read the room.
Not
Well,
interesting.
Bacon, I
but
did
true.
catch that joke, and I was thoroughly impressed. by it.
I appreciate that, Joe Downer.
He
Thank you.
chortled.
I
He
say.
told me about it
He
later.
guffawed maybe a little.
Let's see.
All right, back to Joe. Sorry.
So I finished college. I finished this internship, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I need a job. I thought this was going to be one, and so I was just applying to anything. And so I applied to the ice rink because I was really into hockey, and it was a facilities job. And I was like, sure, why not? And they called me, and they're like, yeah, you can, string 3 words together. You can drive a Zamboni. I was like, okay.
You got a degree. You can drive a Zamboni.
Well, so I was just like, this is kind of cool. Like, who gets to drive a Zamboni?
I know.
I've since met like 4 people that have driven a Zamboni. This used to be my big party thing. You go to a party, like, oh, what's the coolest job you had? And I was like, well, I drove a Zamboni.
Never have I ever, whatever. Yeah. Hit it.
Oh, you want me to hit it?
Yeah.
And this has been not exciting, but true. It's pretty good.
It is so good.
Wait, can we get you to say that?
I can't top that.
No,
Oh, you can. I mean, come on. We had Brian do it backwards 3 times. I mean, like, the bar is real low.
I'll give it a shot, but I don't think I can top that.
All right, everybody shut up.
I don't have the sound effect because I replaced the sound effect with his.
Can you add it later?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
So
Count
pretend
down.
the 3, 2, 1.
This has been not exciting, but true.
That's good.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's a keeper.
You were a
Damn it.
natural.
Downer.
So I would like to ask you about your Jam and Java show.
Sure.
1, how'd you get there? 2, how does Radio Envy do it? No.
You guys play Jam and Jive all the time.
Gotta be good.
We've played it twice, but it was we opened for Unity Day 311.
We have a connection there. You know what it is? I think where this is coming from is that we were impressed that you just put all these connections together. I mean, you had Buddy was your guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
You had a bass player. I don't think we met the bass player before.
Mike
Okay.
Eccles. He's awesome.
You had Dave on keys. You had Hannah,
Yep.
and she played keys too, and she sang, and
She played keys. She sang. She opened the entire show with her set of original music.
yep, which was really impressive.
Yeah, she
Even
was
when
great.
she lost herself, I was like this is so genuine and perfect.
I felt the same way, and I remember watching her perform, and this was like her first ticketed show ever. And she was like really nervous about it, and I was like, "You're gonna be fine. You're gonna do great." I was like, "Even if you mess up, you're still gonna be great."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there was that part where she like started and stopped her song, and I was just like, "That was perfect."
Yeah,
Like you handled that flawlessly.
Absolutely.
And it just endeared you even more to the audience, to the point where I was like, crap, I've got to go on now. Like that's how good she was.
she is. Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
I think that's something as a musician, like you want to present the most perfect version of yourself in a song, right? But in reality, the audience really just wants to connect with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like you put all this pressure on yourself to go out there and do the best that you can. But in reality, like even if you mess up or things don't go as according to plan, the audience is still going to love you if you're being genuine and you're doing your thing. You know.
I was thinking about this just yesterday, actually, and it's kind of expanding on that, and it's I feel like we're all longing for something sincere, something genuine, something real, and if you look at like we're all in search of these like real experiences, and it makes me wonder. I mean, sometimes I feel this way, and it makes me wonder if other people do too. If we just feel as though like we live in this manufactured society, this manufactured world, to the point even where like, like the Hirshhorn will do these like really cool Van Gogh or like mirror light experiences, and it's all tailored to like Instagram pictures and stuff. So you can go there and take cool photos. But like I feel like that is an expression or an attempt to try and find something inspiring, something genuine. But even that still is manufactured. I find it most when I go into nature. So I love hiking. I love being out in the world surrounded by, the wilderness.
Just the earth,
Yeah.
the trees, the wind, the animals that don't even give a shit that you're there.
To me, that's like when I'm like most grounded in reality. Like, it's the most real thing. I had a wedding that I played in Idaho this past summer, which is kind of a funny story.
Did you drive?
I did not drive.
Real.
So I was playing one of the Sinistral shows like out in the street. I was opening for Something Shiny.
Oh, yeah.
What
we
was
like
it?
those guys.
What's that?
What was it?
What was what?
You said you opened for Something Shiny. What was it?
It was a raccoon trying to get a piece of metal out of a hole.
It was a silver tongue.
Why are you all?
They're a band.
That's a good one.
Thank
They're
you.
a band.
Thank you.
Come on. on.
Okay.
Where were you going to go with that?
I don't know.
Far?
Somewhere.
How far down the raccoon hole?
Blaine had ripped his pants off, and he was wearing just like very fluorescent, Speedo underwear.
Yeah.
He had
It
a
was very-
dangly do on his
very shiny.
dangly
yeah.
do.
I wanted to ask him where he got those because I wanted some too, but I couldn't catch him.
He was like, "Meet me in Idaho."
He was running too fast.
There it is.
Hey, one of these buttons has what I'm looking for. There it is.
So I play that show, and it's it's a cool show playing out in the street, but it's it's another show. And I get an email the next day, and this woman's like, "Hey, like, do you do weddings?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then she's radio silent for a year.
Oh wow.
And then she emails me again a year later, and she's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I don't know if you remember me. I emailed you a year ago asking if you do weddings. Do you still do weddings?" I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I remember." You're like,
Yep, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. I still do. And she's like, "Well, I really want you to come play at my wedding." And she's like, "It's in Idaho." And I was like the state of Idaho, huh? Like way out there.
You're like, Idaho, Virginia?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it, but
sometimes it's like, well, there's a Paris, Texas. Like, you never know, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, and she's like, "What would that cost?" I was like, give me details. So eventually I do some math, and I was like, this is how much it's going to take to make it worth my while. Right. And there's a lot of factors you got to factor in there. Flights, transportation, hotels, time away from home, gigs not played here, And so I gave him this number, and I was expecting that to be like, yeah, it's too much, because really it's kind of crazy to be flying a Virginia musician, fly you out across the country.
Yeah.
But they came back to me, they're like, "Yep, we want you.
Wow.
Here's the deposit." I was like, crap, now I got to do this. And so I book all my stuff, and I really took it as an opportunity. I mean, I love to see the world, so to speak. And I've seen so little of it, but I really try to take every opportunity I can to experience it. And this place in Idaho, it wasn't like in Boise. It was 2 hours north of Boise, in Boise National Forest.
Oh.
And
That's
so
cool.
It was at a lodge with cabins, and they put me up in a tent. And if I didn't love camping, that probably would have been a problem.
Sure.
But I got there, I was like, this is freaking awesome.
I would have had a problem with that.
You're a glamper.
Who do I speak to about accommodations?
I overlooked the most beautiful lake. I would wake up in the morning, get out of my tent, and I don't know if I've ever seen a landscape more beautiful than, middle Idaho. And like, I didn't know the song she wanted to walk down to until like 2 minutes before she walked down. Oh man. And
so did they just give you their phone and say, "Here, just plug this into your stuff"?
Somebody, yes. Yes.
Like, I will fake it till I make it.
Except there was no Wi-Fi. And so someone had to drive down to the next lodge where there was Wi-Fi, download a crap ton of songs, and then drive back.
Wow.
And it happened all in the nick of time. And then I had to relocate for the first dance. And they walked up to me and they're like, "Will you play Honey for our first dance?"
That's so cool.
Wow.
They asked me to play my song
That
for
is
their
really
first
cool.
dance. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love that song."
That might be actually one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. It beats the Zamboni. Because somebody wanted that.
Somebody wanted the song.
Something that you created out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
It was a special moment for
That's
me.
awesome.
And so I played my song, and I watched this couple do their first dance as a husband and wife, and it was cool.
That's kind of those moments that kind of make you realize this is why we're doing this, Well,
and it's nice because it's like, well, I write these songs because they mean something to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we write because we can't not write, but when you find that like it connects with someone. I've had a couple songs where people have come up and been like, that song like really hit me at the right time in the right place and meant something to me. And like, that is just such a humbling and powerful moment to be like, okay, like I'm not just doing this for myself. Like there are people out there that these songs can impact in a positive way.
That those connections are made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if people that follow Taylor Swift are Swifties, who are those that follow you?
Why do I feel like you already know the answer?
I just wanted to see
I don't know the
everybody's
answer. I don't know the
reactions.
answer. I'm really curious to hear what the answer
Are
is.
you kidding?
They're
Yeah.
joeys, like baby kangaroos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
See?
I like that.
The answer is they're cool people.
There it is. They're not
right.
called downers, are they?
No,
No,
you
that-
said it though, right?
I did say it.
That was the softball. I was not going to say it.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. You passed.
Van Don't. I've got a good friend that I met through doing music, and she was kind of going through it, and she was like, "Your song Prelude like got me through a time." And I wrote Prelude to help me get through a time.
Yeah.
And so it was really like, it's just, it hits you on another level when you write something or create something that connects on the same or even a greater level than that. And it's a really powerful thing.
It really is a cool song. Truthfully, it's when you look at the structure of creating a song, like there's kind of a format that most artists will follow, where you've got the verse and then the chorus, or the pre-chorus and then the chorus and then another verse and then a bridge and then a third verse and then the chorus and you're out. Like there's several different variations, but Prelude is kind of one of those songs.
Stop it.
And come on, Tim.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay.
Wait, that's
You're a songwriter.
Oh, yeah, that's
What
right.
are you
Sorry.
taking notes for?
I don't know.
I should be taking notes.
There are songs that I like. I can compare "Red and Gold," for instance, which is one of the songs that you played at your mushroom pizza. trivia
Mellow
nights.
Mushroom.
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember the name.
My trivia, yeah.
I'm really excited about talking about this. But you played "Red and Gold," and that, to me, it's not the exact same song, but it kind of had the same sense of Prelude, where at the end of Prelude, there's like this big like crescendo of like, this is the powerful end of the song. And Red and Gold kind of has that, where you've got two verses that are right next to each other, and then you've got this huge chorus that isn't repeated. And Prelude kind of has that same sense. It's just really cool, like how you could just take nothing and turn it into something, and then somebody listens to it and they're like, I want you to play that for this special occasion. It's like, wow, like so cool.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up there.
Let's do it.
Really, I'd kind of like to read some portions.
He wants to
of
read some scripture.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right now. Yeah. Would
You
you,
could-
be okay if we read chapters 4 through 6?
You can find Joe Downer on Instagram at Joe Downer Music, and also at his website, joedownermusic.com. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the good old Joe Downer.
Are you old?
So is that a no then on reading?
Yeah. And the door doesn't open for you. You have to jump out the window. Goodbye.
Thanks for coming in, Joe.
No, thank you
Joe,
guys.
thanks for coming.
This was a ton of fun. I really
glad you
appreciate you having me here.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
This is cool.
This episode was produced by the boys of Radio Envy and Bacon Wave Podcast Productions in cooperation with Revelry Media Productions. Michael Bacon engineered this podcast. If you like what you have heard, please share us with your friends and maybe your family. Follow us on Threads and Instagram with the handle @PodcastNV. If you would like to contact us here at PodcastNV, you can write to us at contact@baconwaveproductions.com.
Do that one more time, but
Yeah.
take the stick out of your butt.
Have a little fun.
I was trying to do my radio voice.
I have to say what they wrote on the screen.